Alright, so I thought I would cover DS Irae before I get 1,000 comments telling me to. I'm trying to stay ahead of the game. I've already got quite a few comments telling me to cover it. So I saved this for my last review of the spooky season. I watched this on Halloween, 9 p.m. at an absolutely packed out cinema. By the way, it is hammering down rain outside, so I'm really sorry if you can hear that. I'm hoping you can't. And I got to tell you, it was a packed out cinema. Everyone was there for a spooky time. It's fine. It's a fairly solid movie, right? If any of you have followed me for a while, you'll know I love Rahul Siddhasivan's work. I loved Brahma Yugam. I thought Buthul Kalam was a really interesting take on a haunted house film. This is probably my least favorite of the three. It's not a bad film. It's in by no way a bad film. It's a solid haunted house movie, but it doesn't do anything new. It does what it does pretty well, but unfortunately, this is a ridiculously strong year for horror. This is one of the best years for horror cinema ever, and doing something that we've seen 100 times really well, it just doesn't. It's more noticeable this year. There is some really good gore and some decent scares in this movie, though. So, if you like that, definitely go see it. If you like his other work too, definitely go see it. But yeah, it's a fine film. It is a solid, straight down the middle haunted house film. As always, let's dive in. Spoiler free. Welcome to Spooky Nights. DS Irae follows rich kid Rohan, played by Pranav Mohanlal, as he is swanning around his luxurious, spacious mansion. I'm telling you, this is one of the nicest houses in horror cinema ever. This is such a nice house. He's on a bit of a break from work. He works for his dad as an architect, but his dad's over in the US at the moment, so he's using the time to sort of drink, fuck, party, doing all the stuff he likes to do. Sidebar question for you. While I was watching this movie, I realized, because there's almost a sex scene in this, and they stop it right before it gets too hot and heavy. Is that a cultural thing? Because I was thinking back and I was like, I don't think I've actually ever seen a sex scene in Indian cinema. Is that like a censorship thing, or is that a cultural thing? Because horror is known for usually it's fucking and blood and all that sort of stuff. And I was thinking back on all the Indian horror I've watched, and I'm like, I don't actually think I remember seeing any sex scenes in it. So let me know if you do know the answer to that, if that is a cultural or a censorship thing. Found that interesting either way. Not that it needed it, but I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. While he's at this party, one of his friends tells him that one of their college classmates has died by suicide. And this seems to be, at the time, just like a minor dampener on Rohan's buzz. But as the days go on, we sort of work out that maybe she meant a bit more to Rohan than he's let on. And now that there is this weird vibe and presence in his otherwise empty home, and he's really worried that it's there for him. Now, as always, the good. Siddhasivan and cinematographer Shaynad Jalal absolutely shoot the hell out of this movie. This movie is beautiful to look at. It should come as no surprise. All of Rahul's stuff's really fucking gorgeous. They use the size of the house really well, and they use it to and they shoot it so that Rohan, he's a powerful man. He's rich, he comes from money, he's educated, he's a powerful guy in society. They use it to make him feel small and sort of powerless against what is going on in his house. It's really interesting. They sort of shoot it almost like a Kiyoshi Kurosawa film, and if you know me at all, you'll know that that is a ridiculously high compliment. I think he's one of the best horror directors working today. He's got some of the best sound design ever in horror films, and I think Siddhasivan does the same thing. It is really, really good how they use sound design in this movie. There's a specific click in particular that is very genius. I think the mystery of this film is really good, right? I thought this was going to be a pretty stock standard haunted house film for probably the first half hour to 40 minutes. But when the intermission hit, I was like, God damn it, because I just want to get to the end of this mystery, right? They go about it a different way. How they deal with the supernatural threat is in a different way. It's really clever. It went places I wasn't expecting, and I really liked that. The acting is superb. by Pranav. It's really good. He's awesome in this. He's a guy who's used to being in power, and this is causing him to basically hang by a fucking thread. You know what I mean? Like, he's losing his mind. You can see it. He nails all that. He's really good. My best on ground, however, goes to Gibbon Gopinath as Madhu. Once again, I'm probably butchering that. I'm really sorry. I'm trying. I loved this character. There's a frailty and a fear to him. Like, he's kind of scared of helping, but he knows he's the only one with the knowledge to help Rohan, so he gets involved anyway. It's a really good character arc. I really like this guy. I think he's fucking wonderful. He was such a cool character. There is and I mentioned it in the intro, there's some really great scenes involving gore. In terms of gore, this went way harder than I thought it was going to. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is some of the best gore I've seen in horror this year. It's awesome. There was a scene where a character takes a tumble, and I was like, oh boy. You know, it was good. It was really good. It almost looks like it's ripped out of like Talk to Me or a Damien Rugner film. If you know horror, you'll know they are two of the best working at the moment in terms of gore and practical effects. Really good shit here. It was awesome. I only had a few issues with this movie, really. The first one was that I didn't really give a fuck about Rohan, right? Like, he's sort of just this rich kid that has everything sort of at his disposal, and I thought it might be a bit of a redemption story, but it's not really. He parties a lot, he's kind of addicted to someone, and he gets haunted. You know, and I'm like, okay, that sucks, but also, like, it just stops him from partying and he's losing, you know, like, I didn't really feel any connection to Rohan like I did Thevan in Brahmayugam. Like, I was just like, okay, sure, you know, like, in horror, you want to connect with the character because when they're going through shit, you are going through the same, you feel it, you're going through it. I didn't feel that at all with Rohan. I was kind of like, all right, man, you're kind of like a rich dude. You could probably throw money at this situation and it'll go, you know, like, that's how it felt to me. Another one was that all the scary bits in this movie, while they are well executed, they've been done so many times. Like, there is nothing in this movie. There is no new way to scare. There is no new crafted scene in this movie that I was like, oh, that's new. It's all, once again, while the scenes are good, I've seen them all done. Like, the way the entity works, the way they find the entity in the house, the way the entity manipulates the space. I've seen it all done quite a few times, like, to the point where there was one scene where I was like, I bet you it pulls out a chair, and then 2 seconds later a chair gets pulled out of the table. You know, they even do a cat jumping out of a cupboard scare in this one, which was used in basically every horror film from the 90s to the early 2000s. So once again, while they're done well, I've seen them so many times that I could sort of predict where the scare was going before it happened, and that sort of does take all the tension out of it. It might play a lot better if you haven't seen a lot of horror. It might be, like, pretty freaky to you, but unfortunately, I cover a lot of horror. I watch a lot of horror, so I was like, okay, this will happen, that'll happen, this will happen, and pretty much all of it did. The other thing was that I didn't understand some of the plot points and the actions taken by some of the characters. I will admit this might be a cultural thing. Maybe there's something about how this entity works or Indian folklore that I don't know, and the motive makes sense. But there were some things that I was like, I don't know why the entity has done this. Like, it doesn't make sense why the entity would do this if this is the reason. I'm talking around it because I want to avoid spoilers. What I will do is I'll chuck my questions in the comments, and if you've seen this movie and you fully understand the plot or whatever, you can just let me know why. But do not go into the comment section if you do not want spoilers for this movie, because I will be asking some questions and hopefully some people can answer it. I would watch this if you love haunted house movies, if you love The Conjuring, if you like Gore Verbinski's version of The Ring. There's a little bit of that DNA in there. If you love when a director puts Easter eggs for his other films in his new film, there's a few good ones in here. If you want a fire soundtrack, I don't think it's Christo Xavier's best. I think Age of Madness is one of the it's such a good song from Brahmayugam. Fuck, I love that song. It's one of my most played on Spotify last year. But this is a really good soundtrack. Like, it bangs. It does bang. I would skip this if you've seen hundreds of haunted house movies, right? If you have, you can probably predict where every single scare is going, how everything's going to work, what's going to happen next. There's unfortunately nothing really new in terms of the scare department, so you might be a little bit bored. If you hate jump scares, don't go into this one. Some of like I said, the scares are fairly well executed. There are one or two though that I would define as a cheap jump scare, and they are the whisper bang version of jump scares, and that is when it's a really quiet scene and everyone's just talking, and then out of nowhere for no reason, someone like screams. That happens like once or twice in the movie, and of course it gets you because it's like, well, yeah, everyone's talking really quietly, so I'm listening, and then you just screamed in my ear. But it did feel cheap, and I don't love those style of jump scares. If you want a haunted house movie with a great mystery, just like DS Irae, I would highly recommend His House by Remy Weeks. This is a fantastic film. It's about a couple, Bol and Rial, who have fled the war in South Sudan and have been placed into refugee housing in the UK. They are basically told to assimilate, otherwise they are at risk of being deported. Bol tries to assimilate, Rial does not. As they're trying to work out their place in the community and what they can do, and if they're going to stay together and all this sort of stuff, they work out that there are spirits in their house, and the spirits are trying to make their lives live in hell. From there, like a tale of like revenge and survival unravels, and it's just a damn spooky film. It's fucking good. It's a good film. It's spooky as hell. It's on Netflix. It's a banger. I love His House. If you like great supernatural horror, I highly recommend the Korean film Exhumer. This is about a pair of shamans who have been asked by a wealthy Korean American family to remove the curse that is on their bloodline. As they start investigating, the shamans work out that it's because one of their ancestors is unhappy with their burial site. So the shamans get a team together of a mortician and Choi Min-shik as a geomancer. They go and dig up the body of the pissed off ancestor. And when they do that, things go bad really, really, really quickly. I love this movie. It's got one of the best ritual scenes in horror ever. And it's truly freaky. It's a really unsettling film. I loved Exhumer. That's it. That's all she wrote. Let me know if you've seen this one, what you thought of it, how it ranks in Raoul's cinematography. Yeah, like I said, it's out of the 3 films I've seen, Brahma, Butul Kalam, and DS Irae. I would probably put it 3rd. I loved Brahma. That's not my number 1. Butul Kalam's a good 2nd place. If you've been following me, this is my last review for October. If you've been following me, just know I appreciate the hell out of you. I am a very small channel, so every view I get, I fucking feel. Every comment I respond to, I really appreciate it, you guys. So if you have been following along, know that I love you. Hopefully I'll see you next week for another horror review. Peace.